Here's the donor vehicle I'll be using for the F-100 project. I'm real torn on whether I'll even post this video or not, and I guess it's just because I feel a little bit guilty tearing a whole car, like a good running car like this, apart to use it as a parts car. But I mean, I will be getting rid of what's left when I'm all done. There'll be lots of very good parts for somebody that has one of these or wants to build one. And as popular as it is to do LS1 or LS motor swaps of these now, I don't imagine I'll have any problem getting rid of the rolling carcass. But again, I just feel bad tearing it apart. But I will say that I purchased this vehicle from a friend of ours with the sole reason or sole purpose of using it for this project, and that's what he wanted for this car. He bought it brand new, drove it for, I mean, years and years and years. It just used it as a commuter car, and it's got, geez, about 220,000 miles on it, but the engine still runs like clockwork. He was an older gentleman, didn't hot rod it and stuff, just bought it because he liked the car. Most of its miles are probably just in town going to and from work. Still runs like a top. I started it up this morning and it hadn't been driven for, oh geez, close to, I probably haven't started it for 6 months to a year, and not even a poof of smoke or nothing come out of it. So let's pop the hood here. Still runs perfect. I was going to do a compression test, but I don't, what's the point? It started up and just burns like a kitten. I do think I'm losing some coolant though, so maybe a head gasket or something, but for as old as it is and as much sitting it's been doing, it could have a bad head gasket or something by now. But I'll plan to get everything swapped over and running again in the F-100 before I bother tearing into the engine. Just get all the basics out of it. So the interior was pretty roached. I stripped the seats off and glued seat covers on it, so that's pretty ghetto. But the dash and stuff's still in good shape. Back seat's trash. I just put a blanket on it. But like I said, lots of good parts. I'm gonna even try to take the pedal assembly out and see if I can use that as well, so I can keep the clutch cable and use the master cylinder and everything for the F-100. So fuel tank, it's got a brand new fuel pump in it. I drove this car for a couple of years, put brand new tires on, a new rack. I don't know, quite a parts list, because I wanted to drive it for a while before I used it to make sure everything was good to go for my project. And it's a fun little car to drive, no doubt. Decent fuel mileage if you're not romping on it all the time. It rides like a go-kart. It's a really terrible riding car, but drives good, and plenty of pep for a stock car for its era. I'm real impressed. So I'll do some performance upgrades on it later once it's in the F-100. But for now, I'm just going to leave it all stock, get it running again. You know, like I said, move the ECU over, the wiring harness, anything I can pull over cleanly to reuse that I will. And then I'll start upgrading things after that. But so there you have it. It's a 1990 5-liter 5-speed. So I hate tearing it apart, but this is the best way to do a project like this, have a complete running donor vehicle that you can pull everything out of the wiring harness and everything. So it'll save me a lot of aggravation, not having to piece and part things together, buying a, you know, hacked on harness and stuff. And this thing is bone stock. I think the only thing he did was an airbox mod. I did tune-up stuff after I got and did repair. I put a radiator in it, odds and ends like that. But it's basically a bone stock car, so the wiring harness shouldn't be hacked up. No major issues I don't expect, other than, like I said, I think the engine's going to need to be freshened up, just gaskets and stuff wise. I assume I'm losing some coolant somewhere, but again, I'll tackle that later. So, but I don't think there's hardly even a dent in this car. I feel bad tearing it apart, but it's in its destiny, I guess.